to Cosmic Vinyl. I am your Prince and Pauper, Cosmic Brian, your host, yes. Yeah, this insane guy right here, it's me. Jesus. Welcome aboard, Cosmonauts, to the weekend video. Man, I got a good video here for you, man. 10 more albums from the Cosmic Collection. Oh, it's gonna be a goodie. So check this out. I pulled 10 of, not so much the top, this isn't like a ranking video, but it's 10 pop psych albums from my collection. I love pop psych, as well as any other like psychedelic or I love all 60s music, so thought I'd share some pop psych albums in it. And come to find out, I have quite a lot of pop psych albums, or psych adjacent, as my friend Stereo Steve from Stereo 999 would call it. I love that. Psychedelic adjacent. I love it. So let's get this on. I got the wax over here ready to roll. Got the brew right here for the big chug. You guys ready for a little big chug, right? Let's do it, man. Woo! I'm ready. I'm thirsty. Oh, get ready. Here you go. Boom! Yeah! Fucking right. Gotcha. All right. Here we go. Lift them up high. Hoist them. Hoist them up. Up the irons. Here we go. Down the hatch.
Oh, yes, my good friend, of course.
Cheers, VC. All right. You guys ready for some pop psych vinyl records? Let's do it. Here we go. Now, this first one is a record that probably should have been on my 10 most played records of the collection, because I've listened to this a lot, man. I love this. This is great pop psych, man. On the Fontana label there, which I love the Fontana label. This is called Blackwood Apology, The House of Leather, released in 1969. This is like part rock opera, part concept album. It's pop, it's psychedelic, it's just really cool album, man. It's got a great story. The storyline is set in the Civil War era, right? At first I thought it was a love triangle between this slave girl, Sarah Jane, and her master and this farmer from down the way. Come to find, after a few more listens, I figured out the House of Leather is actually a brothel, and the mayor of the city is smitten with Sarah Jane, who works at the House of Leather, right? But she doesn't, is not in love with him. She's in love with this other cat, I think, who is a farmer from down the way. I think I said that already. So yeah, it's a great story, man. It comes full circle, opens with a kind of a strange version of Way Down Upon the Swanee River, ends with that. Kind of a sad story, but I love this. And check out this groovy cover, man. Very busy cover, that's for sure. And it's one of those unipacks, but I'll open that up so you get the full flavor right there. And then there's a picture of the band right there. These guys are from Minnesota, and this rock opera actually played in like theaters in the Minnesota area. And man, it's hot in a mug in here. But in theaters in the Minnesota area to sold out shows. So yeah, great stuff, man. Awesome guitar, some great organ throughout, man. I love it. Solid vocals. I dig this album a lot, man. There's just some soulfulness to it. And then the story really grabbed me. So yeah, I dig it, man. And that cover art, I still haven't been able to see all the little, but I did see the little pack of Newports right there, though. Yeah. Hey, man, let me get a Newport. I love Newports, man. Just kidding. I did back in the day. But anyway, check that out, man. Blackwood Apology. Now, this next album is one I picked up at Dead Wax Records here in town in the Big Lou. This is called Orange Colored Sky, Released in 1968 on the Mighty Uni label. Love it, man. This is vocally dominated pop psych right here. Kind of in the vein of, like, say, the Association. Little bit of, like, Buckingham's in here, too. And I love the Buckinghams, man. Great stuff. Awesome vocal harmonies. Super melodic. I would even go as far as to say there's some tracks on here that even venture into the old bubblegum realm. And you know, do I have to say, you know I love bubblegum rock, but yeah, this is really cool. This band made like a couple movie appearances in the 60s. They were in a movie called The Love God starring Don Knotts. I would like to see that flick, man. Those 60s psychedelic movies must have been just crazy. But yeah, man, they found a home in Las Vegas, played all the classic casinos like Harrah's and Caesar's Palace and stuff. But yeah, I love this album, man. Cool cover art as well. Dig it. Hard rockers would probably call that a little pop fluff, which a lot of this stuff is. Now, this next one I picked up when I was still living in Iowa. And I think I seen Matt Sands show this in a video at one time. And he spoke pretty highly of it. And I seen it at a thrift stop and I picked it up. This is the Poppy Family featuring Susan Jacks, who is like a Britney Spears of the 60s right there. This fella right here is Terry Jacks, her husband. And you're like, well, who the hell's Terry Jacks? And why you keep going on about this Terry Jacks, Brian? Well, I'm going to tell you. Terry Jacks is the songwriter of one of the most legendary one-hit wonders known to man, called Seasons in the Sun. You remember that one, Vinyl Community? We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. Then the cops came along and they shot us in the buns. Bomb, 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 bomb. Anyway, Jesus. But check this guy out with the turban. I love it, man. This is kind of dumb, but I was asking my wife, man, do you think it would be okay if I wore a turban? And she's like, what? No, it would not be okay for you to wear a turban. But I don't know why. I just think the turban is so cool, man. A little jewel on the front, man. I just think it looks cool. But yeah, probably not appropriate. So you probably won't see Cosmic Brian in a turban in the near future. I don't know what this is about, these old cats down by the river. But this is Canadian pop psych right here, man. Sweet, sultry vocals by our gal Susan Jacks there. Great tracks that qualify it for pop psych would be Free from the City. But the banger is There's No Blood in the Bone. Woohoo! Good psych track right there, man. Lots of tambla drums. You got a little Eastern influence going on here. Check this out, man. It's usually pretty reasonable to pick up. Another female-fronted band right here, man. Check this out. This is Sweetwater. Look at the band. I love it, man. Released in 1968 on Reprise label. Los Angeles, California pop psych right here, man. Very West Coast sound for sure. But yeah, it's kind of in the vein of a Jefferson Airplane, man. Who doesn't dig that, man? So you'd probably be into this. These guys opened Woodstock, I believe. They were the opening band at Woodstock. And this has the distinction of having one of the coolest psychedelic tracks of all time called My Crystal Spider. Love that track, man. But yeah, this album also employs woodwinds and strings, just give it a beautiful, rich sound. Unfortunately, the singer Nancy Nevins, this gal right here, was in a horrible car accident suffered some brain damage, also damaged her vocal cords. I think they may have had one more album, but I think that was probably the end of their career. Great stuff though, man. Cheap Heat right there. Now this next album, don't laugh because I think this is a great album. In fact, they came out with an album prior to this that is also psychedelic adjacent. But this is The Ark by Chad and Jeremy, or should I say Chad Stewart and Jeremy Clyde. Great cover art there too. Released in 1968 on Columbia Records. Great pop psych, some Baroque stuff in here. But I gotta tell you, first of all, man, I am a Chad and Jeremy fan, man. I love those guys. And I've seen reviews about this album that, or this and the one before that's called Of Cabbages and Kings, that they were just trying to like jump on the bandwagon of the psychedelic thing that was going on for the time. But I don't look at it like that, man. I look at it like just a really great piece of work, a great listen, just very well produced, very reflective, dreamy, melodic, sometimes quirky. But my favorite track on this is a song called Paxton Quigley Had the Course. I love it, man. It was featured in another 60s psychedelic film called Three in the Attic, but was also featured on Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood soundtrack. But yeah, check this out, man. This is just rich and very well written, very well produced. Great album, man. The Ark by Chad and Jeremy. Now this is one that I've shown before, and this is the Glitter House. This is Colorblind. You got a little bit of glare here because it's a foil cover, but this is really cool too. Released in 1968 on Dynavoice. One of my favorite pop psych albums of all time. It has an opening track called Tinkerbell's Mind. Every time I hear this like whimsical track, it just brings a smile to my face. It's just so good, man. Very diverse LP. Also a diverse band, man. The singer is black. I think I actually compared this to Love's Forever Changes last time I showed it. I think I said it was every bit as good as that album. I may have overstated that, but this is solid, man. Very good. Produced by Bob Crew, who also produced the Four Seasons, the Walker Brothers, the Tremolos, all groups that I friggin' dig, man. But yeah, some very cool organ interweaved throughout this. Vocal harmonies are on point. Check this out, man. Great record. If you like pop psych, it's up there. Now this album is probably the softest psych that I'm going to show, but this is The Blades of Grass Are Not for Smoking. I love that, man. I beg to differ, but anyway, we'll go with it. Released in 1967 on Jubilee Records. Pop psych, again, some Baroque pop. Likely this could probably have, and the band probably intended it to be a little more tripped out, but I'm pretty sure that the record label probably held them in check, which is unfortunate, but it's still got some very cool songs, well written. There's a song on here, just ah. I think it's Just Say Ah, like A-H-H, I guess. And it's kind of got a little creepy vibe to it. And then you've got Just Another Face, which has the kind of melancholy groove to it. The lyrical content on most of these songs is about being in love and trying to maybe court somebody of the opposite sex. And love is cool, man. And songs about love are great, man. I mean, even the hardest of hardcore guy probably desires to be loved and to give love back in return, right? What am I talking about? Unless you're a serial killer, of course, and you can't even love yourself, let alone somebody else. Why am I talking? But yeah, they do covers of Help by the Beatles, which is my favorite Beatles track. They also do a Left Bank cover, Don't Walk Away, Renee. In fact, these guys kind of remind me a little bit of the Left Bank, kind of in that vein. So check that out. The blades of grass are not for smoking, even though I don't agree with that. Now this next one is a Boston pop psych, and this is Bo Grumpus. And first of all, I kind of like that name, man. I've heard other people say, God, what a dumb name, man. But I like it. And check out that album. It's called Before the War, released in 1968. Again, there's some Baroque flavor here as well. It reminds me of like Buffalo Springfield, maybe a little Byrds-ish in here too. But yeah, man, even though it's from East Coast Boston, it sounds very West Coast. In fact, if you put like songs on this, from this album onto a West Coast playlist, it would fit right in. You probably wouldn't even know the difference, man. But very catchy tunes, solid melodies. Some of the great tunes on here is Sparrow Tune. Very cool organ in that one. Moon Will Rise. It has an ocarina, man. I was going to bust out my ocarina, but I couldn't find it. Traveling in the Dark has this kind of melancholy vibe. Think Twice has just a little bit of fuzz in it. We'll call it peach fuzz. Jesus. But it's pretty cool. But the most psychedelic track on here is called Breath of Love. Very moody psych track. Check this out. Bo Grumpus. It's great, man. Getting down to the last two. Here's the next one is Fapodo. Yeah, what a weird name, right? This was released in 1967. This is a Gerson reissue right here, but it features guitarist, vocalist, and songwriter extraordinaire Merrill Fankhauser. He played in a band before this called Merrill and the Elites out in California, where he hooked up with this other cat, Jeff Cotton, who went on to be the guitarist for Captain Beefheart Band. And but yeah, there's a collection of singles here between 65 and 67. Some really cool stuff, man. Nice pop hit in the song Tomorrow's Girl. You've got another track called Glass Chandelier that has this really Eastern influence to it. Mr. Clock. I hear a little bit of early Who in that one. And then there's one called Gone to Pot. How do you not like that, right? But it kind of reminds me of the Byrds' 8 Miles High. But here's a picture of the band right there. Check that out. But yeah, I hear a little Roy Orbison vocalized here. But yeah, the name, by the way, it's a silly name, but it's a combination of all the guys in the band's last name. Silly. All right, here's the last album. This is Elephant's Memory. I've shown this before, but I love it, and soak that cover in, Vinyl Community. It's great. Pop psych, psych pop. This is what we were listening to for the intro. Really cool stuff, man. It's got a little bit of everything. Some blue-eyed soul. You've got some. It's really jazzy compared to all these other albums. Released in 1969 on Buddha Records. You've got horns in this that is really cool. But the song Super Heap is awesome. You've also got Old Man Old Man Willow, which is really cool. Check out that Co-op Records and tapes in her sleeve. That's awesome. Then you've got the gatefold here. Yeah, they eat, they sleep, and they enjoy. Good stuff, man. Yeah, this is pretty freaking good, man. If you like 60s, jazzy 60s pop psych, man. Whoops, I think I've got it upside down. There we go. Jeez. So that's 10 pop psych albums from the Cosmic Collection. I hope you guys dug this, man. Stay tuned. We got some great more videos coming up. I may even do a midweek if I'm feeling it, man. But anyway, stay cool, stay cosmic. Come on back and hang out with old Cosmic Brian down the road. See you guys. Peace out.